All right, welcome everyone. Today is September 14th, 10:43 p.m. We're doing some weekly analysis. The reason why I'm doing this a little bit later in the day is just because I wanted to make sure that crypto daily candle was closed, so we can do proper analysis for what's upcoming in the week. Not to mention, we also have a lot of political news happening upcoming days, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. Because on Wednesday, that's where the meat of the bone is. Fed rates, that's where it's going to be. So we'll talk a little bit more in detail. First off, I just wanted to go over just some of the weekly analysis from last week. So we can do a recap, and then we can cover what to anticipate and look forward to in the next upcoming days. I'm going to start out with just removing all of the drawings. Last week, basically the idea was, I actually did cover some of the items in the midweek recap on Wednesday. So a couple of days ago, I did post that video where I did talk about what we were expecting on Sunday last week, where we were in the middle of the week, and now we are wrapping up the week. So let's go ahead and just take a look quickly on gold. The idea was here for price to either continue to push up and break above this area, and that will be the continuation of the trend, or if the price comes back down to 35.72 and breaks below, then we could possibly push down to 35.56. So as you can see, the price continued to push up and we continued the trend. As of right now, gold is just consolidating. So gold is just consolidating. I think on weekly we closed with a small bullish candle. If price contains above 36.11, we should be still in an uptrend. If price closes below this 36.20, 36.11 area, then I would say that we could possibly see some rejections here. We could possibly see some we could possibly see some trend going downwards and just a little bit more retracement. But as of right now, as of what currently it looks like, that we're still moving up, gold being bullish as the economic conditions are not getting better. Last week was just a lot of choppiness, a lot of news coming here, just political news, just economic news, and as a new trader, it would be hard for somebody to come in and take a look at it and anticipate a market move. So things are a bit rough right now as far as the news, where the economic condition is. Hence gold is moving up, right? So as long as we contain ourselves above 36.20 to 36.11 area, we don't close below this area, we should continue to push up and first fill this wick here at 100 pips, which is 36.56, and then continuation to fill this wick here down at up at 36.75. I think that would be so first target would be conservative here. I think we could definitely fill that in the next upcoming days, possibly tomorrow. But Wednesday, as I mentioned earlier in the video, that's where we're going to take a look at. That's where actually the market direction is going to be, because the meeting at 1 p.m. Central. Next we have GJ. GJ, I was looking at it earlier in the day. Let's go ahead and remove some of the drawings here. I believe that since we had this area of rejection for a long time, right? So let's just break it down. So we've been rejecting this area since July, first week of July, and we have gotten over 6-7 candles that we have, we're just consolidating, trying to move up, but we couldn't. But here now GJ has moved up and closed above. I know it's a smaller close, but it has closed above this area, indicating the price could continue to push up. So what I'm anticipating here for this candle to first wick down, but do not break below this previous low right here. So that would be some sort of like a buying confirmation if this if this current week's candle does not break below this low, and it breaks above this current this high, we should be able to continue to push up. So if price, this candle here, does not break below this previous candle's low and continues to push up and breaks its own high, then there is so much range on the left hand side. The price could easily, I really think that GJ this week could make its move up to 203 areas, or at least be on the way to 203 areas, just because there's clean candle. What happens when there's clean candle? Price moves flawlessly. That's what's expected on GJ, so something like this, right? If we take a look at Doge was a beautiful trade last week. Basically the idea was that, so I entered Doge right around this area. So my entry was 21,450, and I think with spread the entry got up to like 21,600. So that's where my entry was. And last week we talked about, since this candle closed in a bullish, forming support, and I was looking at monthly as well. I didn't talk about it in the analysis, but the way monthly closed, I've seen this happen over and over, and that's why I was confident in this trade that weekly has formed support. I entered right here because I was doing analysis on a 4-hour and a daily time frame, and we anticipated for price to push up to this blue line. The second target was around 25 cents, and then price continued to push up to 30 cents. I think this move was about 30%, over 33% Doge moved. So it was a phenomenal trade last week. I did secure profits right around 28 cents. Yeah, 28 cents. So what's upcoming for Doge, right? What's upcoming for crypto? We'll just dive right in. Now, as we're looking at Doge, as we're looking at crypto, a lot of the movement does factor in. It does kind of depend on what the news economic data is going to bring in on Wednesday. But as far as the technical side, because what happens is that news comes in and technical analysis, they follow through. So you could see what's happening on the chart, and more than likely, if you're doing your analysis correctly, if you're reading the price correctly, your news will just kind of boost up the momentum where the price you thought would already be heading. Hope that makes sense, right? So on a weekly basis, I think we have closed around this area. Some might say, I mean, this is a close above. I do want to see some sort of retracement, and then if we can continue to push up, we could possibly fill this wick at 30 cents. And then if on Wednesday the economic data is good, then we could possibly see some new highs on Doge. I anticipate the price to continue to move up to 35 cents to all the way up to 39 cents. That is something that I'm looking forward to for the next upcoming weeks. As I said, so I'm looking for some sort of retracement. I know there's not going to be much movement up until Wednesday, although the Doge has been moving, but Wednesday is really when it's going to move a lot more. On the 4-hour, we have contained ourselves here at 27 cents. We are, so that would be the most recent. I'm going to clear all the drawings here. So this will be the most recent support here. If we break below, the next target will be around 25 cents. So that's like, we're just kind of like in a lower time frame. We're kind of in a downtrend. So I'm out for right now, but I will be looking forward to opportunities if I do see price moving up. So that's on Doge. Then we go into Ethereum. Ethereum, beautiful close on the weekly. We broke above the previous candle's high. So last week I did mention that weekly, it's not a strong buy just because the previous weekly candle, this little red candle here, it broke below the previous low. So basically overall the market was in a downtrend. So it wasn't an indication for a buy. But on a daily time frame, I did mention that if we retrace upwards, we should be able to continue to fill this wick on the left hand side here at 44.96, just because in the beginning of this week, where my mouse is right now, this candle was formed in the last week's video, and this was formed, and that this anticipated some sort of support being formed in Ethereum. So I did mention for the day traders, they could anticipate the move, even if we're retracing up, to fill this wick. And on Wednesday, I did mention, so we were right here on Wednesday, I believe. So if we, yeah, this is Wednesday. So look at the bottom of the screen here. It says Wednesday, September 10, 2025. So on this day, I did the recap, and I did mention that next day we would be more likely to not break the low of the candle and continue to push up to fill this wick. So if people are day trading, that was going to be, if you're day trading, that was going to be a phenomenal call. Something that I'm out of right now. I'm solely focusing on swinging on crypto, just like swing trades, make a couple of days, hold. I don't want to go in and out just because the fees on the crypto is just a bit too high. If you know a platform that has lower fees, by all means suggest it to me. So next day, this is what happened. So we filled this wick, and the day after was really the push. What is happening on weekly basis? Where are we heading on Ethereum? Like I mentioned, we've formed a support level here, and usually what would happen is that once you form support, the price should continue to push up. So I think we should be able to continue to push up to the highs of Ethereum where we left off in the weeks of August. So all of this, because this is a volume week, because there's so much economic data coming in, I think this could really push and break above those highs where the price was at one point just stale. So we got up to almost 5,000. 5,000 is sort of like a psychological level, right? Now, because there's more news, because there's going to be more volume in the market, if we were going to break 5,000, it would be this week. It makes sense for it to break this week, right? So I do think that we could continue to push up on Ethereum as well. And Bitcoin, same thing. We are in a range, so this is sort of like a range right here, right? I know it's a big range, but we're still, there's no lower lows being created, there's no lower highs, higher highs being created. So as long as we can break above these areas, break and close above these areas right here, we should be able to continue to test these highs at 124,282. If we form some sort of resistance here, for example, a candle like this, let me change the color so it'll make a little bit more sense. So something like this, right? If we form some sort of resistance, so at that point, I think we could come down and retest these lows here. As long as there's no resistance being formed, and as long as there's no resistance being formed and being respected, at that point, we should be able to continue up. Also, I will be doing a recap on Wednesday because I think that will be a good day to do a recap just because there's so much economic data coming in. I think I've said that so many times, so just stay tuned for Wednesday, right? Wednesday is going to be a good day. Let's see. Then we have, I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's just go ahead and dive right into our weekly news. Let's see. So tomorrow, we don't have much going on tomorrow. September 16th, which is Tuesday, we have retail sales data on USD. It does have some sort of impact on the day trade, just because it's going to be at a volume time. It's going to be on the New York session, which is around 7:30 pre-New York, London getting mixed up. So, the chart will move. What are we expecting? So previous data was 0.5%. We're expecting less. So That ties into tariffs and things of that nature that has been going on recently. Just the sales data is going to be below. All of this is, can drive gold higher and drive USD pairs a bit lower. So watch out for that. And Wednesday, we have CAD, we have Euro, mainly we have USD starting at 1 p.m. Paul is going to speak, and FOMC meeting is going to be at 1:30. That's when actually the press conference will happen. And then also we have Australian dollar employment change. So if, something to look out for on AUD pairs. Then on Thursday, we do have official bank rate for GBP. I think just because there's official bank rate news, I think that could be also a driving factor. Because there's GJ, so GBP and JPY, both news are at the same time. That would be sort of like a day that you don't want to be stuck in the market, because both pairs news is coming out and they're both major news, right? So look out for these events, and let me know if you have any feedback, if you think where the price is headed, if you agree, disagree, why. Give me some feedback, and I'll see you tomorrow on the live stream, and I'll see you on the recap for weekly analysis on Wednesday. Up until then, take care. Peace.